Exchange. This is the People's Podcast. This is where you get to ask your questions and we will answer them for you each and every week. And there's a few different ways you can get involved. You can drop your comments and your questions on YouTube on each and every Footy Interchange episode. You can hit us up on social media, particularly on a Tuesday morning, and we will see those. But the most guaranteed way, Scoey, is, of course, to be a patron.
That is right. Be a patron, backchatpodcast.com.au. Click on Patreon. $10 a month will guarantee your questions get answered. I personally like heating Adam Papalia up, put him on the spot a little bit more. Doesn't like the controversy sometimes, Paps, because he's too much of a good operator. But if you do want to ask me or Paps a question and have it answered on this show, the guaranteed way is to be a patron. And it helps support the podcast. It helps us bring shows like this to you for just $10 a month. It's a pretty good deal, to be honest.
Certainly is a good deal. And you can kick us off with the Patreon questions.
That is right. John on Patreon says, welcome, boys. Why the hell is the AFL constantly trying to ruin the game? Just fix the mess that you created and leave it alone. I mean, this could be referring to basically anything. What I will say on that, and you can have your say as well, perhaps, is it does feel like there has been, in the last 8 weeks, a shift across a number of different things. There's been people hired, so Swan and Harley.
Yep.
There's been the committee has been brought back.
Yep.
The competition committee.
Laws of the game.
The tribunal is making better decisions. You cannot shy away from it. They are going action over outcome. That is happening. There is, I think, in the last 2 months, a significant shift in what is happening at the AFL. So as much as I can be critical across multiple facets of our game, I do think where credit's due, they are making changes. I don't know how you see it, but I think there's significant change happening at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. There's been a restructure at the top level in a few different departments and making efforts to make things easier for people to understand. As you said, the tribunal, get some better processes in place at the top level, which will hopefully help with that messaging and communication and just make it easier for everyone. So I think they've made some really good steps. The mid-season tournament thing, even though the AFL themselves haven't come out and said it, which I think that's what that question's alluding to.
Good point.
It might be one that is shot down pretty quickly given the reaction from everyone.
This happens every year.
Yeah.
Some stupid things.
I don't love the mid-season tournament idea if it is separate to playing for premiership points. I don't mind like if there's a separate prize for teams after you play each other once and then you get a benefit or something to that if you finish on top at that point, or if you find yourself playing in an extra game to win the cup after that point. But to me, stopping the season to play tournament games and then restarting the season and then stopping it again to play those cup games, I just think it'll get way too confusing for people.
Right, so John's pretty much right in your eyes by the sounds of things. Okay, Mitch Lockhart asks over on Patreon, and this is a good one, Paps, I think. Do you guys think it's time for serious change in the concussion assessment protocol or giving much more power to independent doctors? Pretty wild watching Tristan Sherry fall over repeatedly and still not coming off the ground for 10 minutes with multiple similar incidents happening recently. Meanwhile, we are suspending players for 3 weeks for football actions and immediately stopping the play for someone bleeding or with innocuous splits over the eyebrow, blood noses. I'm strong on this one and have been for quite some time, and I know you are too. Yeah, I don't think the AFL has got this quite right, and they've overcorrected after the Lockie Schultz incident here in WA.
Yep.
The Collingwood-Freo game, or Collingwood West Coast? Collingwood-Freo game. So now it's ridiculous. Like they're stopping the game for a bloke with his tiny shoelace up if he looks half injured. So they've overcorrected, no doubt. But what 1,000% needs to happen is for a couple of reasons. The concussion assessment protocols, I think, needs to be taken completely off clubs. They can still run in and do the assessment, but the call of a player coming off the ground needs to be immediate when there's a head clash or a head knock or something that you can clearly see on the vision. It just needs to be straight off the ground. You need to come off. And if it come off and then they do the assessment, but the quick one and say, well, nothing's happened, back on.
Yep.
They do interchanges all the time. But a big one that they need to bring it in for is players faking it. When they're getting tackled and they're throwing their head back and they're smashing their own head on the ground to try and get a free kick, well, that's okay. Keep doing that, but you can come off the ground. It'll fix that immediately. I think the risk for injury and head knocks and concussions is a significant risk in our whole industry. But I think what's a worse look, because it's a physical game, that stuff's probably going to happen forever unless we completely pull out the physicality out of it. But the worst look is the throwing the head back and looking for free kicks with trying to exploit the rule. And that would get rid of it completely. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that in terms of trying to penalise those players that are trying to make a little bit more of some contact. The ones that we've seen in recent weeks where they take too long to get off, like it's clear to people watching the vision that it's a significant enough event that their player needs to come off the field. Yeah. So just get them off the field quicker.
Yes.
Rather than looking through the vision a million times on the side before you make that decision whether they need to come off or not. I think get them off, have a quick check, take that time so that we don't run the risk of them playing through that if they do have a knock that they need to go through the protocols for.
Yes.
And if there's an independent doctor there, which they don't have in the AFL, then that doesn't count to your interchange rotations. It's just one comes off, it's under the concussion protocols, and they get to go back out again if they get cleared. But it just needs to happen faster.
But they've overreacted now. Now they're stopping the game for everything.
Yeah, for injured ankles and whatever else. I just think that those ones where you can clearly see it on the vision that it's a significant enough head knock.
Yes.
Just take them off the ground quickly, do your assessment then quickly, and then get them back on if they're right to go.
Yep. Great. That's it.
We'll continue with some other questions that have come through. Kane says, and this is a big one around about Origin, says, hi, gents. A question for the Footy Interchange team. Would copying the model from the AFL under-18s potentially be the answer to State of Origin and balancing a fixture? i.e. WA, South Australia, Vic Metro, Vic Country, would mean an even number of teams to rotate through every year, and you wouldn't have the soulless abomination that was the Allies as the fourth team. So in year one, it's WA v Vic Metro, then SA v Vic Country, year two, WA Vic Country, and then you rotate them all through.
Right.
With Victoria contributing the most number of players to the league, having two teams also gives them the chance to pull on the big V also. Thoughts?
I haven't really seen too much of that, really. I think the big issue would be SA right now. If you just looked at the team, SA probably wouldn't be able to challenge the other three sides, WA, Vic Country, Vic Metro. So you're sort of adding in another one to it. I've already told you what I think. I just don't have the connection to State of Origin to have a strong opinion on this that matters. And some people might say most of your opinions don't matter, but I do give them. On this one, it just sounds like the reason it worked was the rivalry, and there's no rivalry in any of that. So I don't know how you get it back.
I do want to see it back. I'm with you. I don't know how it's going to happen. Kane, thanks very much. The only issue with that one, and I do like the Vic Metro, Vic Country, you just can't exclude the Allies because you exclude a lot of players and a lot of area in the country where the AFL's trying to build the game. So you need to find a way to keep New South Wales and Queensland players involved.
Why? Because they're trying to build the game.
Because it's a national competition.
But you don't have to involve everyone. Well, New South Wales and Queensland should have a Victorian one as well, shouldn't they?
In rugby league. Yeah. Well, it's not a national competition. Yeah. It's New South Wales and Queensland. Yeah, but we can't just do that with a couple of states. We need to find a way and a model. Could you have with Origin in the preseason? You have your first lot of games, and then whoever's ranked as the top team out of that, they play Origin in the middle of the year.
Maybe.
And work it that way. So, there's a lot.
Rivalry and money are the issue.
Yeah,
money being probably the bigger issue. How to get people paid?
They'd have to pay them a fair bit to build that concept.
Yes.
RJK says, with Caleb Sarong not being protected or helped by his teammates to break the tag on the weekend, who, in your vast knowledge, has been the best protector of their teammates from a tag in the last 25 years?
Oof. Put me on the spot there.
Yep.
Well, okay. I'll just think about things I know. So West Coast traded Tyson Stengline to the football club to be a big body midfielder around Judd, Cousins, and Kerr. Like that. That is literally why he came to the football club. So I'll put him in.
Yep.
Does that work?
Yep.
People I played with.
You think? I think he's a protector. So you think of physical.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Bo Waters was someone who would go out of his way to look after our midfield if they were getting done. And Nick Nananui, because he's so big. I know him and Luke Shuey had just incredible connection. And one part of that was, if I'm getting tagged, I'm running in past you and you put your big fat ass in his way. And it doesn't have to be, we're not asking to protect and bashing people behind the plate, none of that. But if you're a tagger and you run past Nick Natanui 20 times during the game and every time he stands in your way and bashes you, that's gonna get annoying to the point of, this is too hard. That's what you're trying to do. So they're my teammates I play with that they're always very good at it.
Byron Pickett's probably a name that springs to mind.
Yeah. I mean,
super physical.
Protect element, yeah, that definitely. I just think of the good sides though, like the good sides, and you think about the good players that play, and then who looked after them, who were the role players around them. Scott Pendlebury's turning himself into a role player around Nick Dacos. You watch him play, he knows he doesn't need much burst from stoppage anymore. He gets the ball and he's looking and listening for Nick Dacos.
Chris says, since everyone except me wants Justin Longmuir sacked, would Adam Simpson be stupid not to take the job?
I don't think you get to just take jobs. But why is this? Why is it so quickly? Why is it? It feels dockery to be. You've won 6 in a row, and then like one game at the SCG away from home, where you really could have won the game and you didn't quite get it done. It wasn't like you're blown out of the water. Well, now you're going to sack your coach again. Come on. Have just a little bit of faith in what you're doing. You're still one of the youngest sides in the competition, Freo. Like by a long way.
It's going to be so intriguing to see if they stay the path.
They bloody should, because they've committed to it.
I think so
they've
too.
got the list. They've got the relationships. Going and getting a better coach, if that's the thing, I don't know if that changes much, to be honest.
Reading the Game says, looking towards the future, which club right now would you rather be, considering the current list, potential and coach? Would you rather be West Coast, Richmond or Essendon?
Probably... Oh.
Got some good questions coming through this week. I like it.
I'll just give you my gut feel, and I know this is going to sound strange to people who listen to me all the time, like West Coast. I don't know what's happened to me, or I don't know. I have more positivity around that list than I'll do a Richmond for some reason. I'm sure they're going to be good, and Essendon, they just feels like they can't pull it all together. That's what it feels like. So West Coast.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bombers, if they can get their injury issues fixed. West Coast, given they've got a strong draft hand this year, like that would be the exciting part to it. Like if you can add to what you've got there. And Richmond have they're right in that middle of that process too. So it's a really good question. Ed says the AFL proposes to reinstate the former VFL postseason night premierships. All games were at Albert Park on a Tuesday and Thursday back in the day. The first 2 weeks elimination, third week semi-finals, the fourth week grand final. How could that work in the AFL, and at what venue would you play it?
On Tuesdays and Thursday nights?
Postseason night premierships.
I mean, you could do it in Melbourne. You get all sides to Melbourne, and you could do like Marvel, MCG, and Skilled or GMHBA.
Play at all the different ones, or just all at Marvel.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I can't see it working though, Ed, but thank you for sending through the question. Jelly Roll says, Scully loves Creed. My God, this makes so much sense and answers so many questions.
Creed's just unbelievable. And we haven't clipped that up, have we, Laura? I think we need to.
She put it up last week. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it go up. I'm so upset right now.
I started getting tagged in it by lots of people, so that's how I knew it went up.
On Twitter?
It was quite funny.
On Twitter? I'm rebirthing that because that didn't get enough love because I haven't seen it.
Go and check out last week's episode.
Will you start like taking requests for like
No, I don't think so. It's got to be the right thing, as I said last week. If I hear a phrase that works in footy as well and can work in, I'll try and subtly drop it in. But people can jump in as well. Dan Starler enjoyed that as well. Said Creed lyrics, Chef's Kiss. Also said, Scully, so glad to hear you and others like Dane Zorko hold mainstream media accountable about the way they talk about early years players. It's like they forget these kids are exactly that and still kids when you talk about Harley Reid.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled out some stats that someone smarter than me found on X around comparing Harley's stats to Bontempelli, Petrarca, and Dangerfield. And he's on par, if not in front of all of them, in possessions, contested possessions, clearances, score involvements and goals. I think goals was the only one, but you think about Dangerfield, he was a forward for the first few years. So, I mean, just quite clearly he can play the game. And the criticism of players is an interesting one. And I don't know how people view me and my opinions around that. I deliberately don't. I try not to criticise it too much. I know how hard the game is. My criticism usually lands on administrators and the game. I try not to be too negative about players, unless it's an issue that's really strong with me. So something like individual midfielders at Freo not protecting their teammate. Like, I used to try and be a good teammate on the field and that sort of stuff. But, mate, skills and even fitness to a point, especially as a young player, I just can't sit here and criticise that. I didn't figure that out most of my career. It's bloody hard work and it's difficult to get right. So, yeah, to sit on the outside trying to get a headline or trying to put a segment together where you're just making things up, I don't really like it. I'd rather just have a laugh and get on with it and be positive most of the time.
B-Dub says, silly comment from Scully on opening round last week. No one wants to see a big Melbourne club play a Sydney club in opening round. What a joke. It has to be called opening round because of the tradition that isn't that old or enduring of Carlton playing Richmond at the beginning of round one. It's all based on a few big Melbourne clubs wanting to dominate the landscape more. But in Perth, why should we miss out on seeing our team play or a match in Perth? Opening round is a dud.
So did I just say I like opening round? I can't remember what I said.
Yeah, because it's more rounds of footy.
Well, it is. I'll just stand by it. It's not a stupid comment. Because the alternative, all these people that say, opening round sucks, the alternative is not, it's not there. So you get a week less of football. That's fact.
I think you can both be winners here. No. So you can still have opening round, but make it more inclusive. So play a game in Perth, play a game in Queensland,
sure.
Play a game in New South Wales.
Okay, but it sounds like it's like the opening round's a dud, so don't have it. No, you need opening rounds so you get another week of footy, so I don't have to bloody twiddle my thumbs somewhere.
Yeah, so you both get what you want. You get opening round,
Great.
And B-Dub gets a game in Perth as well.
Yeah, B-Dub.
Done. Justin says, after Sonny's retirement, I'd love to see you interview him on BackChat.
Stay tuned, Justin.
As soon as he announced his retirement, he would have been straight on the phone.
What do you take me for, Justin? Stay tuned to BackChat for an exclusive. I don't know. We're trying to get him on.
Get him on.
Yeah.
A very good player, good person, and I'll look forward to listening to that whenever it comes out, Scully. And finally, for me, wildcard round. This is my question I'm putting in. Has to happen. Just bring it in. We don't need mid-season tournaments. We don't need any of that. Bring the wildcard round in. And it just increases the interest in the rest of the season, no matter where you're at. So if you are sitting 7th or 8th, you are fighting extra hard to get into 5th or 6th to guarantee yourself that spot in the finals and a week off leading into the finals. If you finish in 7th or 8th, then on your head be it, you then have to play off against 9th and 10th. But if you look at the ladder as it is right now.
Yeah, there'd be a big fight for 10th right now.
There would be, absolutely. So the top 9 are locked in. But for Freo, even though they're in 9th, and the Suns and the Giants and the Bulldogs who are all on 40, they're trying to fight to get up into 6th spot. So all of those games that we see them playing in the next few weeks, plus the other teams.
Shouldn't they already be doing that? Shouldn't they already trying to get to 5th and 6th spots?
They are, but you get the added bonus of a weekend off before the finals start as well. So you get more advantage for finishing higher up the ladder. If you finish in that 10th spot that everyone's fighting for, so as it stands at the moment, the teams that would still be alive at this point in the season would be the Sydney Swans, Port Adelaide, Carlton, Essendon, and an outside Melbourne and St Kilda. So you get all the way down to 15th where there's still a chance to get something out of the season.
All right.
So the difference being, though, Scully, and I know you say, don't reward mediocrity and all that type of thing. The Sydney Swans, coming off a grand final, have a terrible start to the year. They look like they're just hitting their best form now. If they were to make it into the finals this year, would they be a threat of upsetting some of the other teams?
No.
I disagree with you because we just saw them beat Fremantle on the weekend.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm being a bit facetious.
But of all of those games in the rest of the season that we are now thinking are dead rubbers for all those other teams playing, there would be so much more interest in those through the rest of the year, purely by bringing in a wild card round. It's very simple. 7th and 8th to play against 9th and 10th. You sell that concept to a location, WA being the place it should be. You say the Wild West wildcard round is played there. So if you finish 7th, 8th, 9th or 10th, you earn the opportunity to go to Perth for that weekend. You go out to the Wild West, you play in the wildcard round to keep your season going.
Clip it up, Larea.
It's as simple
That's
as that.
good. No, it's good. It's good. I give it to you. That's good.
And we
can't
don't
argue with it.
need
It's good.
mid-season tournaments. We don't need any of that. And I'm not, this isn't just my concept. Like lots of people have talked about the wildcard round
Just own it, mate.
and going everywhere.
Just own it.
But it just it's just the simplest fix, Scully.
The Papalia Wild Wild West.
No.
Stop backing away from it. It's a good point you're
It's
making.
the simplest fix.
I like it.
And then we don't need any other crap.
Own it.
All right.
It's yours.
Let's do it. Bring in the wild card round. Let's do it this year. Can we get it in before the end of the year?
Very good.
Don't think that's happening, but into the future. Anyway, I asked and answered my own question on the Footy Interchange Exchange.
If you are, we are wrapping up.
We are.
If you're listening along, tomorrow on BackChat, Danielle Laidley will join us. It is a very, very interesting and insightful chat. That's what my thoughts are off the back of having a chat with Danielle.
Brilliant. Love those interviews each and every week as well. Scully will be back next week with the Footy Interchange, but as always, people can get involved, drop us a question and get involved with Patreon as well.
Yeah, if you're a patron, make sure you keep your eyes out for the little group chat we got going. Chuck it in there and we'll get your questions done there. If you're not a patron, jump on to backchatpodcast.com.au and sign up as a Patreon for $10 a month.
Thanks, Scully. Brilliant stuff. This has been the Footy Interchange Exchange, the People's Podcast.